My goodness, CNN data guru breaks down how bad Biden is doing with black voters. Okay. So, Rob, if you can pull up this clip and just play it first, because I think it's a perfect transition into the story. If you got it, just, I know you got Rob's got 78 videos he's searching right now. Go ahead, Rob.
The drop off.
Look at the reaction.
You look at 2024, Biden still leads among black voters over Donald Trump, 69% in an average of polls. But look at this number for Donald Trump, 22%. Where was Donald Trump at this point 4 years ago in the polls? He was just at 9% of the vote. So he's seen more than a doubling in his support among African Americans. This margin, which was in the 70s just 4 years ago, look at where it is now, 69 minus 22. That puts it in the 40s. My goodness gracious. If this held through the general election, obviously we're still months away, this would be by far the best performance for a Republican candidate among black voters in a generation, two generations, probably since 1960 and Richard Nixon against John F. Kennedy. That's how long we're really talking about when we're looking at this margin here. This could be a truly historic margin. It's quite a troubling sign for the Biden campaign.
So where is Biden weakest among black voters? When you look at this number, who are they?
Good for her for asking
who are these voters? And let's break it down by age, because I really think this gives you a good insight into what's exactly cooking here. Take a look here. If you look among black voters age 50 and over, you see that Joe Biden has a very substantial lead here. Look at this, 82% to 8%. This lead is still in the 70s. This looks a lot like what we saw in the overall polling back in 2020. But look at voters under the age of 50.
Which is what matters for the future.
Donald Trump is pulling 25% of that vote. Joe Biden is at just 62% of this. This lead, Sarah, this lead is south of 40 percentage points. This is historic. This is what a lot of folks have been talking about, that Joe Biden has a specific problem among younger black voters. And that is exactly what's showing up right here. And this is, I think, a lot of the reason why you're going to see Biden focusing more on black voters, why you're seeing Jim Clyburn go out there. Don't be surprised if they go to more colleges, because the fact of the matter is, older black voters still really much like Joe Biden. It's these younger black voters.
Rob, can you pull up the clip from Morehouse? So now let's do a case study. Okay, so Joe Biden's watching this, more like his campus watching and saying, okay, what is a college graduation he needs to go to give a speech? So he goes to which one?
Morehouse.
HCBU Morehouse, right?
Yeah.
Watch this clip here. Go for it.
Today, you missed your high school graduation. You started college just as George Floyd was murdered.
Oh, God.
And there was a reckoning on race. It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you.
Oh, my God.
What is democracy?
Here we go.
If black men are being killed in the streets, what is democracy?
Pandering.
The trail of broken promises still leave black communities behind. What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot. And most of all, what does it mean, as we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country?
Do you have the one where they're turning around on him and turning their backs against him? Have you seen that one?
I can find that.
If you can find a Vinny, go ahead.
Okay, and I was going to ask you guys, why, Tom, do you guys think it's a significant jump in the young voters? Is it because this it drives me crazy, this rhetoric, and nobody's screaming and yelling while he's saying this? Is it because they've had enough of this bullshit, divisive, the world is against you, black people, you can't, he's basically saying you guys are too dumb to do this, you're too dumb to get IDs to vote, because that's their rhetoric. You guys are getting pushed down, and you don't have the same opportunity that everybody else has. What is it?
Well, what's happening is affordability in America is horrifying. And the communities that have supported Democrat candidates are looking back and realizing they haven't gotten the support and they haven't gotten enduring change. That maybe they got, a few dollars here for this program or that program, or they got relief. But enduring change is investment in schools, investment in the economy that makes jobs available in those neighborhoods, and law enforcement that provides true security for the neighborhoods. And I'm not making this up. This is what the African-American voters are asking about. And they don't want to hear again, and it's shifting, and the younger ones are shifting, saying, stop telling me if I'm with you, it's going to change. It didn't change for my parents. It didn't change for my grandparents, and it's not changing here. And those numbers that CNN talked about, that's low when you compare to what it is in Georgia, outside Atlanta, and in North Carolina, where Trump right now has 10-point leads. They're not swing states anymore. And so the youthful African Americans are looking around and saying, who is going to make it better for me? And it's not about color. It's about affordability and the economy. And then the Democrats want to make it all about colored votes. Oh, this is our block. This is your block. No, 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 no. These are Americans. These are citizens looking for a better life and saying, who's going to give it to me?
And by the way, this is him, by the way. The students turning their backs on him. Go ahead and play this clip.
A day earned, not given. We gather on this Sunday morning.
Good for them.
Because if we were in church, perhaps it would be this reflection. It would be a reflection about resurrection and redemption. Remember, Jesus was buried on Friday, and it was Sunday. On Sunday, he rose again. But we don't talk enough about Saturday, when his disciples.
He is.
This point is that we're not talking about Saturday when he went to the nightclub, and then on Sunday he went to the bar. I mean, look, who are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Right? So, but look, it's evident, and if you lose the young black vote, could that be a 40-year loss? Could that be a 30, 40, 50-year loss? What does that look like if it's a 30, 40, or 50-year loss? What do elections look like for them? Can you go to what you just showed right now a minute ago on the swing states, Rob? Check this out. Trump leads Biden in 5 out of 6 swing states. Biden's got Wisconsin. Trump's got Pennsylvania by 3, Arizona by 7, Michigan by 7, Georgia by 10, Nevada by 12. Now, obviously, that's as of right now. A lot can change between now and then, but it's still a interesting number to see. Adam, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things here. But we know Trump loves the blacks. They're the best. And Biden famously said, if you ain't black,
No, if you're not voting
for
Trump
Biden,
or me, then you
ain't black. Exactly.
And
Well
he said
said.
stuff like, "You'll put you all back in chains." And he has a track record of racism throughout his entire career, but people tend to forget about that.
So what this comes down to is a few things. Number one, it's identity politics, and the whole premise of America and MLK's I Have a Dream speech is being looked at as an individual, not as a voting bloc, not as a constituency. Everyone can vote for themselves, whether it's a Latino, whether it's a black, whether it's an Asian, whether it's a Jew, whether it's an Armenian, a Syrian, a Christian. Not everybody fits in a box, and what they've tried to do is fit black people into one box. Because who's the head of the black household? Arguably, it's the black mother, because the single father's epidemic, but black women overwhelmingly go Democrat. So identity politics, victim culture, what he's saying, you're a victim, you're a victim, you're a victim. Whereas the Candace Owens of the world, the Thomas Sowells of the world, the Larry Elders of the world, like, nah, I'm good. Maybe my grandfather was a victim. Maybe my parents had to deal with this, not me now. So the evolution of the switching of the parties. So every 50 to 75 years, the parties actually sort of switch. Tom, you know this growing up in the 1800s. You remember that during the Civil War, Republicans were the North. They were the more liberal party. They believed in anti-slavery. The South were more the Dixiecrats, the Democrats. They were pro-slavery. So that's what happened in the Civil War. And then around the Great Recession, 1929, early 30s, Herbert Hoover was the president, I believe. He was basically a non-interventionist, didn't want to get in the middle of it all. They elected FDR, who was a president for how many terms? 4 terms. He was a Democrat, and the black vote again switched again, because they were basically the whole electorate switched again. But then the biggest thing was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, we just talked about, with LBJ. And who ran against LBJ? That was Barry Goldwater, who opposed the Civil Rights Act. Barry Goldwater was a Republican from Arizona, I believe. And LBJ was the vice president to JFK. And everything switched with the Dixiecrats, and everything's kind of gone the other way. So now there's a new shift happening another 50 to 75 years later. Here's my perspective. Tear it down. I don't care. The Democrats, I'm talking the base of the party, used to be the working man and the unions. Now the Democratic base is the working woman, right? the abortions, the future is female, the boys can become girls. That is basically who the Democratic Party has become. So there's a shift going on. So people that were traditionally Democrats, the JFKs, the Clintons, people like my father with a picture of JFK up, are like, this is ridiculous. But the Republicans have also had a shift, and they've gone from typically the limousine conservative, the I'm a country club guy, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Now they're the party of the fed up, angry patriots, working man, blue collar worker, mothers, families who want their son to not grow up to be a girl, to grow up to be a man. So what you're seeing is another shift, just like we've seen every 50 to 75 years.
I don't know about a shift, and thank you for the stroll through history. I'm hoping there is a point in there somewhere. There was
just because I made fun of you, you know the point was good.
There were 7 swing states, 7 of them, and now, you know, North Carolina isn't even listed. Nevada and Georgia are about to not be listed, and we're going to be down to 4 swing states, because the closer we get to the election, Americans of all colors, genders, and backgrounds are asking a question. Am I better off than I was 4 years ago? That's been used in campaigns, but it is the operative question for the American citizen. And what they're seeing here is the mainstream media is making it about race. They're making it about voting blocks. They're making it about identity politics. But the fact is, affordability crisis in America is making people rethink whoever they have supported politically, historically, and has the greatest emergence of independent voters in this country's history. And we're down to 4 swing states, and it's looking more and more like people are going to make the choice. You got to remember Biden. Biden is a frickin' closet racist. He was the guy that tried
allegedly,
to keep...
Tom.
Not allegedly.
No, he's not. He's
we
real.
can go back and look at his own writings. I reference his writings, and that was brought... Let me tell you, he was preventing Clarence Thomas from going to the Supreme Court. He was extending the hearings. He was bringing in witnesses. He was doing things until C. Boyden Gray, who was counsel to the president, walked into his office and said, "You wrote this some years ago. Would you like to see this in full-page ads in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times? Because we will put it there. You have been living in the closet. You are against this man, and you need to move this hearing forward." And the next day, Biden moved, and Clarence Thomas was rightfully confirmed by the Senate to the Supreme Court. That was Joe Biden there. That was Joe Biden. And that was C. Boyden Gray, who was that special counsel to George Bush, who walked in there and said, "Dude, we're going to call you out for who you are unless you step off this and move this hearing forward." That's the guy, Joe Biden, who's our president now, who is saying these things at Morehouse College. That's despicable. And that's the guy that's presided over our economy and as the affordability crisis in America. Americans don't buy it. We're down to 4 swing states, and I think that list is going to go to 3.
You think that list is going to go to 3?
Absolutely.
So based on
Pennsylvania,
what you're saying, Tom, based on what you're saying there's going to be a landslide. That's what you're saying.
Tom, is that what you're saying?
Tom, what are you saying, Tom?
Biden needs Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. There is no math that works for Biden to be elected without all 3. And Pennsylvania right now is in trouble, more trouble every poll that comes out. And these polls that came out, that's the Philadelphia Inquirer polls. That's a liberal rag. It was their polls.
So you're saying,
I don't know what time of the month it is for them, but what I'm asking, what I want to know from you is, when you guys say words like that, I'm English 5th language. I wasn't born here. But let me go back to it.
Pretty accurate.
So are you saying it's going to be a landslide victory for Trump?
I can't say landslide, but I can say if that Pennsylvania moves much more, that this thing needs dirty tricks to go the other way.
Oh, you mean voting from home? Like, let's say another pandemic comes. That's exactly what they're praying for.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not talking dirty tricks, stories. Judicial activism, judicial prosecution. Come on.
Yeah, but you don't think a pandemic coming on the election year from a nation that hates us, that Trump was holding accountable, is just random?
All right, let's go to the next story.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just add one quick thing about
30
Trump?
seconds.
I think what we're seeing is a Trump bump versus Biden. We've seen the evidence, the case examples of the last 4 years and the Trump the last 4 years. So I think because of Trump, African Americans are gravitating towards him. We know that they've been fed Ebola lies. He's racist, he's this, he's that, just like Tom's assuming for Biden. And what they're realizing is, nah, I don't believe so. What I will say is this. I think he's going to take a deeper percentage of black vote than in the last 20 years, possibly. But it's what's going to happen in 2028. I think after Trump, if they go back to like a Romney-esque, Ron DeSantis-esque, that 20% is going to go right back down to 10.
Okay, that's actually an interesting point. Let me tell you guys what's going on with Minnect. For those of you guys that are competing to be at the dinner with us at Casa D'Angelo, which I was the other night, and then have cigars with us afterwards, conversation, having all the Minnectors come together, here's what the race is looking like. Rob, can you zoom in a little bit for the lightweight? Really, Davis took over the lead, 198. These are people that at the beginning of the contest that started April 16th had never been on the app. They just downloaded it. They just started getting Minnect of them answering questions. These are 198 completed answers to questions. Davis is number one. Then it's Santino. Then it's Puva. But by the way, we're going to go to the website because there's a lot of competition behind him. Middleweight, Fernando's got the lead with 105. Then it's Michael, then Parsa. And then heavyweight, not even close. Dustin is ahead, 286. Calvin Doctor, 156. Cuomo third place, 120. Look at home team and just dominating.
Vinny, what are you doing out there?
I love you.
Crushing. 502, then Tom, then Adam. And then new users asking questions. Tyler Huff, good for you for asking 185 questions. Goran Surbeski, 123. Eddie, 121. Dustin, existing. Holy moly, look at that, 895.
Here's my guy.
Sir John, ICU, 771. Ozzy Gomez, 276. Here's what you have to realize. These are all the QR codes for us. However, this is the most important data I'll tell you. My entire life story was from being one contact away from my life changing. I'm one contact away from life changing, whether it's business, health, marriage, relationship, finance, it doesn't matter. On email, if you send a cold email to somebody, the response rate is less than 1%. Instagram DM, it's less than 3%. Twitter is 5%. LinkedIn is 8 to 12%. I got the report yesterday. Tom, did you see the report on what percentage of people on Minnect respond? Do you know what percentage of experts answer questions on Minnect?
Can I guess?
Write it down on a piece of paper, and then, Tom, tell us what it is.
Okay, I can't enter a contest to guess because I know what the number is.
But just say it. What's the number?
94%.
I put 94.
94% of people answer Minnect questions. So, and a lot of people answer within 24 hours. I answer within 24 hours, and mine are audio. So are Vinny, so are Tom. Adam, we'll get back to you, but it's.
I will.
But he's on a boat. He's in Miami.
But here's
guys,
the point.
You got to give him some credit.
Guy wants to talk about politics. You don't like what Cuomo said? Minnect him. You want to talk to Candace? Minnect her.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.